When a woman loses a spouse, probably the last thing on her mind is her finances. That's why she needs an advisor. Hi, Erica. I'm so glad you could join me today. I'm interested in how different women are seeking and getting financial advice. Tell me a little bit about your situation.
Well, my husband was diagnosed with cancer in 2013, and sadly he passed away this summer.
Oh my goodness.
I have a 13-year-old son, and I run an acting school called Acting Apart, and I needed help and guidance on what to do with funds and what to do with our money, and I needed to find the right avenue to go.
And how did you find an advisor?
To be honest, I spoke to a lot of friends, and then very close friends of ours recommended our advisor, and I entrusted our lives with them and decided to go with this advisor.
And you were at a very vulnerable point in your life, not just as a widow and the mother of a surviving child, but as a business owner that was taking off.
Yes.
So what were you looking for in this advisor?
Yeah, you know, I didn't even know anything about money in terms of my husband took care of it. I needed someone to really take the lead and tell me where my investments were, what to do with it, someone I could call. I'm in the theater and film business, so I like to be one-on-one. I like to be able to get in contact with them. Wanted a small firm, and I wanted someone who really could guide me.
And you had a lot of issues, not just investment issues. You had cash flow issues. You had estate planning issues.
Yes.
Could this one advisor do it all?
They did. They did. And I thought about that because some of our friends use several advisors. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do that. But I decided to just put everything in their hands because then there's no confusion for me either.
Sort of one-stop shopping for you.
One-stop shopping, yes.
If you were to say something to the financial services industry of women like me, I'm a widow, what would you say as how do you attract me and keep me as a client? What do they need to do for you?
They need to be there for me, and they need to be there and understand my situation. I own an acting school. I am running a franchise. I have my son. I have my husband who just passed away. They need to understand my story so they can help me and guide me for future. So they really need to really understand who I am.
One last question. You're always on the go, and it's hard to coordinate with another professional schedule. What's important to you as far as mobile contact, email, phone calls? How do you communicate with your advisor?
Social media, we'll talk on Facebook, we'll talk on Instagram, I'll email her, I'll text her or him, I will call them, and they always get back to me.
So you want an advisor that can meet you where you are, right?
Absolutely, and anywhere I am, where I am. So it's very important that I can get to them wherever I may be.
Great. Erica, thanks so much for sharing your story. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
Hi, Tina. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now, I spoke to one of your clients, Erica, who had a very complex situation. She was recently widowed, mother of a young son, and a business owner, and she came to you for advice. Tell me a little bit about that case.
So Erica provided a lot of needs at one time, and so Erica found herself in a situation that she didn't necessarily plan to be in, especially at such an early part of her life. And so we came to Erica by way of our clients. Right now, they referred us to Erica. And so it was actually at our first meeting that those clients and myself and my entire team came to meet Erica and her husband, who was unfortunately very, very ill, and also a member of Erica's family, her father and her son as well.
Wow, you had everyone together, you had a word-of-mouth referral, and you deal a lot with women clients, right? But this is probably not a typical case, is it? This was pretty complex.
Yeah, so I would say that it was a complex case, and when we deal with women, it's usually as a result of some sort of life event.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like death of a spouse, like a divorce, things like that.
And how do people find you? Is it always word of mouth, or do you have some sort of marketing campaign, or how do you reach them?
So sure, so word of mouth is a big referral of business, but we also put out a lot of thought leadership on what we're doing, and we have introduced a blog, and we're also on social media.
Tina, you're talking about blogs and reaching out to clients and potential clients. This is not usual in the financial advice industry. Tell me a little bit of how and why you're shaking up your industry.
We're basically using these channels as ways to distribute the information that we're writing about and talking about. Because women are really busy, and so just like my client right now, I might put out the blog post that she's interested in reading, but she might not have time to do it until, midnight or even 7 a.m. the following morning. So to make this thought leadership as accessible as possible, put it in an MP3 format, put it in a PDF format, and again, just let the client know that it's out there so that when she wants to read the information, that she can access it on her time, on her device, according to her life.
And you mentioned being aware of the needs for education for some women, and also communicating with them on their own channel and on their own time. What advice would you give to your colleagues in the financial advice industry of how to reach this incredibly important and lucrative female market?
We need to tell our stories. We need to write about what's going on, that's happening, our day-to-day work. And so things that were written 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that was a different narrative. So we need to tell it in our own words. The clients love case studies. They love real examples. My second piece of advice would be to take whatever narrative that is and repurpose it in different forms. So perhaps an audio file, an MP3 format. Another one might be a visual. So we're kind of combining these stories, graphs, Word documents, PDFs, everything that you can imagine, even slide presentations too, putting something in a PowerPoint where it's easily digestible and where you can show like step by step. That helps a lot of clients.
Well, thank you for sharing your tips, not only for potential women investors in search of an advisor, but to other advisors of how to better communicate in a new digital age.
Thank you, Mary Beth.